Hi everyone. Welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars. All the details are in my video. If you enjoy what you hear, tap the like button and subscribe. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can hit the join button below. Thank you for being here. Now let's dive into today's story. The Turkish entertainment world has just been shaken by a revelation that no one saw coming. A few thoughtful, carefully chosen sentences from Yasmin Özilhan, a trusted confidant and longtime friend of Alp Navruz, have turned quiet whispers into a crescendo of conversation, bringing back to the surface a love tale that many believed had drifted into the past. After months, no, years, of discretion, Yasmin finally spoke, and what she shared has sent a wave of emotion across social media. According to her, Alp Navruz has never truly managed to move on from Alina. From the first time they appeared side by side, Alina and Alp felt like a discovery audiences had been waiting for, two names that suddenly seemed destined to be pronounced together. On set, their connection sparkled. Behind the scenes, it deepened. What started as on-screen chemistry became a real relationship that people followed with the intensity of a personal drama. Every tender glance in a candid photo, every rumor of a disagreement, every sudden appearance at a premiere fed a fascination that crossed borders and languages. They were not simply a couple, they were a story people rooted for. Time, of course, is never simple for public figures. New roles pulled them in different directions, calendars clashed, and the pressure of screens and headlines grew. Little by little, the two seemed to drift apart, at least that was the image. But if we listen to what Yasmin has just revealed, what exists between Alp and Alina surpasses simple categories. She hinted that their bond never quite loosened, not even when it seemed like they were walking on separate roads. She spoke with the calm of someone who has seen hearts up close. Alp, she said, carries an enduring, unshakable attachment to Alina that complicates every step toward a clean slate. She left a space that nothing else has managed to occupy, Yasmin said, her voice measured and sincere. People can part ways in life, but the heart keeps certain doors open. Those words were enough to ignite 1,000 timelines. Headlines sprang up. Fans began to resurface old interviews, meaningful glances, playful jokes from behind the scenes. The question echoed everywhere: is this the beginning of a return, a new chapter written with a steadier hand? If we believe what Yasmin suggests, Alp still thinks of Alina daily. Even though their relationship ended officially, the pulse of their story has never flattened. Those near him talk about mementos tucked away, photos from late-night shoots, notes scribbled in the margins of scripts, a playlist that once filled dressing rooms and cars. When one of those songs unexpectedly floats through a cafe or a car radio, his expression shifts, they say, as if he stepped back into a moment both far away and terribly close. During her conversation, Yasmin drew a portrait of Alp that felt both intimate and familiar to his fans, determined in love, loyal to a fault, someone who doesn't back away when his feelings are rooted. She described a man who believes that when a love is real, it doesn't simply vanish or fade, it takes up residence, adjusting and maturing, but never surrendering its place. Those who followed the pair through every triumph and stumble already sensed that their connection wasn't a passing infatuation. It was built on intuition, unspoken understanding, and the kind of silence that says more than speeches. According to Yasmin, the trials they faced were never about a gap in affection. They were about schedules that shredded hours and expectations that turned whispers into headlines. In the hardest moments, Alp's thoughts would circle back to her, Yasmin shared, unhurried. Even when he kept it to himself, Alina remained his safe place. And then came the comment that many took as a carefully veiled sign: sometimes pride stands in the doorway where love wants to enter. When the heart takes over, pride doesn't stand a chance. That idea, nestled in her interview, moved swiftly through the digital world. People who had once declared the book closed started to suspect there might be blank pages left to fill. Old clips were re-uploaded, montages returned, and beneath them, captions captured the same dream: give it one more try. Not as a performance, but as a choice that felt like coming home. Just as the buzz reached a fever pitch, Alp posted a single black and white photo on his Instagram: the sea, evening light dimming into a silver-gray horizon. No tags, no names, no grand announcement. Only a short line beneath it: certain tides always find their way back. In minutes, the image spread. Comments piled up with interpretations and confessions. People read it as a message only one person would truly understand. The likes soared, the post became less about the sea and more about memory. Those who had followed the pair from the beginning were sure they recognized that language of suggestion that both Alina and Alp had spoken at different times in their own quiet ways. Alina, meanwhile, didn't post a single word. She didn't add a photo, didn't share a song lyric, didn't respond to any of the speculation thrown into the air. But her silence didn't calm the storm, it stirred it. Sometimes the loudest part of a love story is the space where nothing is said. And people close to the situation lent their own weight to the rumor that something still lived between them. Those familiar with Alp's days and moods say that, in difficult hours, he still reaches for his phone. He dials the number he knows too well, and even if she seems guarded, Alina answers. The calls aren't frequent, they say. But they come often enough to prove that a thread remains. Not long ago, at a festival they both attended, cameras caught them for a moment that felt like déjà vu. A brief hello, a small smile, a pause that seemed to suspend the noise around them. They said little, but their eyes did not. There, framed by flashes and barely audible music, it felt as if they were reading pages only they could see. The clip traveled across platforms, every fraction of a second was examined, slowed, and amplified. The consensus settled into place: you can rehearse many things, but you cannot rehearse that kind of look. The industry took notice. Producers, always attuned to what the public longs for, are said to have already sent out feelers for a new project that would place them together again, not just for a scene, but for a full story, something romantic, something that could carry the hopes of an audience eager to see them again. Some insiders call it the return everyone has been waiting for, the pairing that could electrify a season. Officially, nothing has been accepted or refused. Unofficially, the possibility hangs in the air like a promise. What seems undeniable is that Yasmin's words have revived embers that never truly cooled. Alp, consistent with his private nature, hasn't granted additional interviews or offered clarifications. Friends say he's in a reflective phase, looking back without blame, looking forward without rushing, letting the calendar do what it does when people are honest with themselves. And Alina continues to be measured, keeping her distance in public while keeping kindness intact in private, the way she always has when the world tries to write her lines for her. This is why the public is transfixed. The elements are as old as storytelling itself: two people who once found a perfect rhythm, lost it, and might find it again. There is romance and restraint, longing and restraint, fame and the deep desire to be seen not by everyone, but by one person in particular. The question lingers, welcome and unsettling at once: are they meant to begin again, in a softer season with clearer intentions? Or will this remain one of those loves that teaches you who you are and then rests tenderly in memory? The fans' devotion is not blind. They remember the reasons things grew complicated. They remember when time was not generous, when the gaze of millions felt heavier than a secret shared in a quiet kitchen. But they also remember the small gestures that didn't make it to headlines, the easy humor between them, the way their body language mirrored without trying, the instinct to protect each other from the drag of gossip when the cameras were too close. Perhaps that is why Yasmin's testimony struck such a chord. She did not talk about drama. She talked about persistence. About a feeling that refused to be replaced by a new role, a new city, a new season. And in that single line under an image of the sea, those words about tides, many heard Alp say he is still listening to what his heart has to say. A tide leaves and a tide returns, and in both movements there is continuity, not contradiction. If love is that tide, then perhaps it is less about endings and more about patterns that bring us back to where we learned how to breathe. Sources say communication between them has never cut off entirely. A holiday message here, a small congratulations there. Moments when one of them needed grounding and the other offered it, without asking for anything in return. Those exchanges do not belong to the public, yet they have a way of being felt. It's in the softness of a smile during an interview, in the careful way they speak about lessons learned, in the fact that neither has ever reduced the other to a headline. If an on-screen reunion does arrive, it will not just be a casting decision. It will be the reappearance of a language they invented together. The audience will come for the show and stay for the feeling that story and reality are brushing fingertips. And if that reunion does not happen, if life keeps them walking parallel but separate paths, then perhaps the clarity that comes from this moment will be enough. Closure can be a kind of love, too. For now, we are all waiting, watching the horizon. Alp chose to post. Waiting to see whether Alina's silence breaks into words, or into a single image that says enough. Waiting to learn whether time is poised to be their ally at last. Waiting, with an odd sense of peace, because sometimes love is most moving when it is quiet and true and undecorated. So tell me what you think. Should Alina and Alp give the past a second chance and let the future surprise them? Can a love that weathers distance, work, and fame find its way back when two people are finally ready to listen? Share your thoughts in the comments, tap like if this story stirred something in you, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what happens next in the world of Turkish celebrities. And if you want to back us a bit more, press the join button and become part of our community. Because at Secrets Behind the Stars, we follow each heartbeat, each glance, and each moment when the spotlight reveals more than it hides. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and goodbye.